Hey guys, welcome to Everything Football, where we talk everything football from the NFL, the NCAA, the AAF, the XFL, and the CFL. With the first topic of today's video, we're going to be talking about the Orlando Apollos playing the Atlanta Legends in Orlando. Um, the game really wasn't competitive. It started off okay with the Legends kicking a field goal, but quickly the Apollos answered back with a touchdown pass and never looked back. It was very, like I said, uncompetitive. The Apollos were kind of ahead for a majority of the game, and really, quarterback Garrett Gilbert, wide receiver Jalen Marshall, formerly of Ohio State, um, they kind of dominated the ball offensively. Orlando had a good running game as well, but Jalen Marshall looked like the deep threat that he was in college, and looked to really capitalize on this experience. The Orlando Apollos defense really dominating. I think that whole unit did a really good job. They were fighting. They were getting after the quarterback a lot. Matt Sims had no time to really throw the ball. Their secondary was forcing turnovers, and they had really solid athletic linebacking play. As far as the Legends go, I think the biggest thing you saw today would be they had very poor O line play. No, not a lot of good pass pro. They weren't really communicating very well. The Legends were letting the Apollos D line and pass rush get to the quarterback very often. So the quarterback never really had time to set up in there and actually start reading the defense really well. And I think probably halfway through the game, the quarterback had no trust in the O line, and at that point, the game was pretty much lost. Coaching was another thing for the Legends. I had previously stated that Mike Vick was their offensive coordinator. Turns out he's not their offensive coordinator anymore. He doesn't. He relinquished those duties, I believe. Um, so moving forward, I actually don't know who their offensive coordinator is. It doesn't matter, to be honest, because the coaching was very poor for the Legends. They definitely got out coached by Steve Spurrier, which I expected, but it was a lot more apparent than I was expecting. Steve Spurrier looked like he might be the best coach in the AAF, like I predicted. He hasn't done anything to prove me right yet, in my opinion, but he has definitely not done anything to prove me wrong. So, as far as that goes, after this game, looking at both these teams, I think the Legends are the early front runner for being the worst team in the league, and the Apollos are a top tier team, in my opinion. It was just that apparent that the Apollos and the Legends weren't on the same level as far as the product of football they're putting on the field. Moving on to the San Antonio Commanders and the San Diego Fleet. Uh, this game was a lot closer for most of it. San Antonio didn't pull away with the win until the very end, and they won 15-6. Um, this game, you could really tell the pace of the game really mattered. I actually saw some players really winded and tired, mainly because there's not as many TV timeouts. There's not as many breaks that you get to have. So these guys, it's a conditioning event for them. As far as each team goes, we'll start off with the Commanders, the winning team. Definitely had some better quarterback play. I wouldn't call it great quarterback play, but definitely good from Logan Woodside, who threw some interceptions, yes, but also made some really good passes, some good deep passes, and his receivers were definitely helping him make plays on the ball. It was very promising for the Commanders' future. I think that they looked at this game offensively and said, we have pieces to build around. Dustin Vaughn, who I said would be their starter, is injured right now. So if he comes back and takes over that starting position, and you can expect some better quarterback play from them, not that Logan Woodside was bad, just that Dustin Vaughn maybe takes them to that other level. I think the San Antonio Commanders are a dangerous team offensively. Defensively for the San Antonio Commanders, very good secondary. I think they played well. Maybe not always giving up some plays, but I think that when it mattered, they were in position to make plays, and that was the thing that popped to me. I believe they had 4 interceptions, really coming up and intercepting a lot of passes near the end zone, around the end zone when they needed to force turnovers, which was a great deal for the San Antonio Commanders. Now moving on to the San Diego Fleet. Offensively, it was a mess. They had a good running game, to be fair, but their passing game was bad. throwing a lot of interceptions. I think that they dropped some open passes as well. It was overall really sloppy for them on offense. I think that they have a chance of pulling it out more so than maybe the Atlanta Legends do. I think that they have a little more talent on offense. And then moving on to their defense was pretty solid. They maybe gave up some plays, but also got some bad positions from the interceptions and didn't give up points, which is a good thing. If they can clean up that interception problem, I think the San Diego Fleet, with their defense, maybe focusing on the run game moving forward, have a chance to vie for a playoff spot. Very solid team win for the San Antonio Commanders. Coach Mike Riley, formerly of Nebraska, formerly of anything you can think of pretty much, CFL, NFL, USFL. He had a really good game coaching. I think his offensive scheme worked. It wasn't great all the time, but it definitely worked. His trio of running backs had a great output. His quarterback did really well, and he had a few receivers that definitely contributed to the game. It was definitely a team win for the San Antonio Commanders. I can't really say that one guy stood out and carried the team for me. It wasn't a quarterback taking over, but it helps that your defense gets the ball turned over 4 times, and your offense can capitalize and score some points when they need to. That's it for my post-game reaction. As far as the tomorrow's games goes, with the Memphis Express playing the Birmingham Iron and the Arizona Hotshots playing the Salt Lake City Stallions, I'll give you some predictions for those. I won't be able to watch the games tomorrow. I'll be able to catch the first half of the Memphis Express game, but I do have to work tomorrow night, so therefore I won't be doing a post-game reaction to them because I won't be watching the game. I do expect the Birmingham Iron to win. It's going to be close. I think the Memphis Express might have the edge at quarterback with Christian Hackenberg, but I do think the Birmingham Iron have an underrated quarterback in Luis Perez, who reminds me of a Big Ben, and they have Trent Richardson, some names that I know and everybody knows. Blake Sims at backup quarterback for them. So I can see the Birmingham Iron really pulling it out and winning this one in a very close match. This is the closest one I think we'll call. I think this one's going to be the hardest one to predict. Moving on to the Arizona Hotshots and the Salt Lake City Stallions. I see the Salt Lake City Stallions winning this one. Arizona has a weak quarterback roster. We saw what that did to the San Diego Fleet. If they're going to turn the ball over a lot, if they're not going to focus on the run game, I can see it being a real problem for the Arizona Hotshots. Salt Lake City does have a roster that I personally like. I remember talking about Matt Asiata, some other names out there. I forget. I think they have a solid tight end with the Stallions, and also maybe a good wide receiver. I forget the names though off the top of my head. But Matt Asiata, NFL guy. Like I said, he's listed 4th in the depth chart. That just tells me they're going to use a lot of running backs. I think that the Salt Lake City Stallions have a solid roster and really will win that game. So hoping, I went 2-0 for my picks today. I'm hoping to go 2-0 for my picks tomorrow. I'll kind of talk about a whole week wrap up on Monday and tell you about what more news going into the week around more football than just the AAF. Thank you for clicking on the video. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it, guys. If you liked it, please hit the like button. My name's Peyton, and I'm out of here, guys.